thinking about it. A little box, yeah. There we go. Nice. Yeah.
How's your holiday
Righty.
season going?
Oh. Yes, we're off to Disney Paris tomorrow. First thing in the morning, basically. We're off to Disney Paris, driving down tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Just for 4 days, Monday, Friday. So that's going to be epic. Yep. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Definitely. Definitely looking forward to that. How's everything going there?
Good, good. Holidays, parties have started and everything, so it's going well.
Yep. Yep.
It's been warm the last 2 days, so people have been playing outside. I haven't been able to get out, but it's been nice.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Golf swing's not in the greatest spot, but it's coming around.
Okay.
I had COVID like 3 weeks ago, and ever since then I've just been short of breath and just tired and just have not been able to
Yep.
put a lot of work in.
Yeah, that just seems to linger, doesn't it? That kind of breathlessness and kind of just tired fatigue just seems to hang
Yeah,
around after it, like kind of nothing else, really. Yeah,
yeah. But so it's work had been
not
working
good.
on trying to get the turn and the little bit more inside takeaway with the hands, not the club. And
Yep. Yeah, we tried to get the hips kind of going away first, didn't we? Getting the hips moving early.
yep. And then when I was working on that, just found that I was not getting forward at all with that left hip. It was turning back into just turn instead of
Yep.
the. So I kind of took a step back and just focused on getting back to the feeling like you have
Yep.
that going left first instead of just a turn away from the ball. So kind of.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. And that's made a difference. That's been better.
Yep, it's been better. Just have to re-ingrain that. It's obviously just not there all the
Yeah.
way.
Yep. Yeah.
So here, yeah, we'll give you a
Yeah.
look here.
It's just that it's the biggest thing, isn't it? It really is the biggest thing, and I just see it more and more in people as I kind of go through with new people, old people. It really is when you get to that position right at the top, the rest of the sequence just falls into play.
Yeah, it just flows right into
Um,
effortlessly.
yeah, yeah. It's just so difficult, though. It's so difficult because so many people are so used to hearing and seeing and having done for many years, get it over onto that right side and then drift it back. It's
Yeah,
so hard.
yeah.
Um, so hard to get out of that, get away from that. But
It's weird. It feels like such an unathletic move for some reason.
yeah, yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Yeah, because I know, I've said this before. It's how I learned to play golf. It's how I learned to teach golf. Was very much about that kind of weight shift, that physical lateral movement. Um, and even when they're talking about pressure and how the pros move their pressure and center of mass and center of pressure, they're still talking about it back and moving forwards.
Yeah,
It just creates just too much of a variable for me. Um, and having seen so many people, and myself included, load into that lead side earlier, and still capable of producing all the speed without the kind of variance of when does it shift back, how much does it shift back, does it shift back at all, do you pivot around the back, just yeah,
yep,
it's just very difficult when it's just kind of feels like little old me just going, no, pivot round your lead foot, don't get onto the back foot, and then everything else is like, no, get it over onto your right side, kind of unweight it, then you recenter it and load. It's like it's very difficult,
yeah.
but
So I just been trying to re-ingrain that feeling, just taking that step back. But here, we'll
yeah,
give you a look at what we got right now.
and we know it's powerful, don't we? Because we've seen how much you've grown
Yeah.
in speed.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not questioning that it works. It's just the feel. Like when I get away from
It's
it,
just yeah,
try to get back to it. It just feels so
yep,
unnatural.
Yep. Yep. That's good. And it is still, the fact of it is still, you've had many more years of doing it with the traditional, if you like, way of moving back, moving forwards than you have of doing it this way. So
Many more.
there's always going to be a little bit of that battle, just keeping it. Actually, that's really good. That's really good.
That one felt
I mean,
good.
just all of that whole delivery is just really solid, isn't it? Just all of that.
Just a little short.
Yeah, yeah, just a little short.
And then when it went short, it just promotes
See.
that hookiness and handsiness.
Yep, yeah, yeah. Then you don't quite then initiate the downswing sequence with the ground, with the lead side pushing. I think it needs. I think what will really help everything with it is you. Yeah, what's your on the next one that it runs through? Either way, doesn't matter. Just watch your head and the height of your head through the swing, through the backswing specifically. Down the line one's good because your head's right at the top of the projected image. It doesn't really load into the ground, does it?
No.
There's no real kind of pushing into the ground. There's no kind of loading into that lead side, which would then force you to push off of it. Um, Again, the positions of it are good, so you're getting into good shape at the top here. But because it isn't loaded into that lead side, you can still start it down with your arms. You could start it with the hips. You can start with both together. It's not got to be their legs first. It's not going to be the push. So I'd rather see you push it down and really load down. Feel like there's that squat move down into that lead side. So you're pushing forwards towards toes, definitely into the ball lead foot. And then, like, if you were to stop here and I said, how would you hit the ball from here? There's no way you'd just do that. You'd have to push the hip, you'd have to push off of that lead side first, which then extends and rotates the lead side. And then it pulls the upper body into position. So you get that much more action reaction. When it's just very level in the height all the way through backswing and downswing, you're not getting the load, unload, the coil, uncoil, the action reaction happening as much as it should happen. So if you super exaggerate just the backswing for me, like really load into that lead side, feel like you lose as much height as you can. It's kind of only one way you can hit it from there. What have you got to do to be able to hit a ball from there?
Yeah, you gotta.
You've got to get out the way there first.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get the club to the ball kind of any other way. So it's like you want to rehearse some of those and then tell me where you want to be at impact, then get to impact from there. Yeah. See, that's superb. That's really good. Because you've then got that load, yeah, and then that lead side just clears, that lead leg pushes back, and that pulls the upper body with it. We've got to get that lower body more active in the backswing first. Yeah, see, then it starts to be driven from the ground up, downswing. Yeah, good. Yeah, really good. How do you feel about kind of hitting one like that, even if it's just a soft hit, just so that it is? Yeah, it's definitely better. Definitely starts better in the downswing. But again, if you watch your head from the down the line view, It certainly goes more down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all of that just it helps you to get a little bit deeper because you're pivoting more around that lead side. Your trail side is then a little bit freer to rotate. It does then get deeper. It doesn't. It doesn't want to kind of go over the top. Not that it's over the top, but it doesn't want to go forwards as you start down. Yeah, it's definitely longer. Yeah, much better.
Yeah, that was even kind of a short swing. And it feels like it's coming out lower too. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, because what it does is again, I'm sure we would have talked about it. We're effectively turning the upper body 45 degrees more than the lower body. So when we make that rotation to the top, let's say we go 45 with the hips, 90 with the shoulders. So you've got 5 degrees of coil between your upper body, lower body. I can move all of that 45 degrees of the upper body coil against the lower body without the lower body having to move. And I can obviously then start to go a little bit more towards target without the lower body, without the hips actually having to move. Most of us can only get about that 45 degrees of difference between hip rotation, pelvic rotation, and shoulder rotation. So any amount of movement that I then have back with my pelvis towards target forces the upper body to come along with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
it's like it's locked
when it's here, and although the position, yes, yeah, you're locked there. Yep. When you're in this position, which is a good position, but there's no kind of real kind of load into that lead side. There's nothing in me here. I could stay here. I could stay here for a while before it got really uncomfortable. You know, it would be minutes, many minutes, you know, without feeling so uncomfortable. So nothing's really wanting it to come back down again. So we then would have to initiate that some way. Whereas when I get here, I can't hold that. I literally I cannot hold that like any longer than that because I'd start to get cramp in the back.
I'm glad it's uncomfortable.
Where it's just that twist.
Too.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's
probably
uncomfortable. Yeah, but I can feel.
It's like I can't
Yeah.
stay here for more than a split second.
No, but it wants to come back down. You know, it wants to move back down. It wants to get that twist off, that coil off. So you are getting then much more of an action reaction movement. Shut that blind.
It's funny how it always comes back to that load.
It always does. Yep. Yeah, see, that's much better. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, your left side just clears. Down the line view of how your left butt cheek just fires back. You maintain your posture so much better. Your left, yeah, you actually fire a little bit backwards. You get the left hip, you get the pelvis almost going backwards, which again is what all the tour players will do. Yeah, so that's just really good. And essentially, we're getting into exactly the position that they're getting into. They just move off over here, so they kind of unweight it, get a little bit higher, which is why hands and everything get a bit higher. Then they'll transition into this loaded position here, and then they push off and through it. They just get a little bit more of that spike because it's kind of down up quickly. It's here, down up very quickly. So they're getting a little bit more of a spike. We're getting into that same position that they get into, but we're just trying to get there by the time we reach the top of the backswing. So we don't have to rely on doing this.
Yeah.
And you've got to do that from wherever you're at the top of the backswing. You've got to be in pretty much the perfect position here by the 9 o'clock down position, because then you're pushing off the ground through. It's just so difficult for us normal people to do that. And even the tour players, you look at somebody, the top 10 are generally freaks. They're just so good. at doing like repeating it. But you look at somebody in the top 50, look at maybe number 50 in the world, who's like seriously good. They're going to be a name that everybody's heard of, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's then you look at what they've done over the course of a season. There might be a win. There are going to be some top tens. There's going to be some, decent finishes. There's going to be some poor finishes. There's going to be some miscuts. And it's that a lot of it is just where they're not quite on that timing of getting everything back. And obviously short game, that comes into it a lot, hugely, obviously, because if they're missing and then they're not chipping and putting, then they're not doing so well. Yeah, it's about, I think, just really exaggerating that load into that lead side. It's not just about getting into the position of loading into the or being on the left side. It's about load into the left side. Feeling like the only move you can make from there is that push, left hip, back, up and back. Yeah, that's it. And if you go top and stop again, and if you feel how when you just push back off of that lead side, push off the lead leg, it automatically, you can't push off that lead side without the upper body naturally being pulled forwards down and towards the ball. It just has to happen. And I think sometimes, again, when you're not, it's like if you stand just normal here and put your weight on your right side. Both ways works. But put your weight more on your right side and try and turn the hips with the weight on the right foot. You just can't really. They don't really want to turn.
No.
Put the weight on the lead side and try and turn the hips kind of towards target. Again, they don't really have that freedom of movement to turn. So what we're doing is by loading into that lead side in the backswing, we're freeing up the right side to just be able to turn. Because I'm pushing into the lead foot, the trail hip can just get way further back behind. And then as I push the weight back, put the pressure off of the lead foot, it then helps the hip open up more. So getting that kind of, imagine like if we shift across onto the right side, harder to get the turn. Shift it too much to the left side, which is what most people then do, and then can't get that left side early enough, and then they can't get open, and then that's where the hands and arms come into it. So getting the push, it is very opposite, isn't it? It is very opposite. You put the weight into the left side to be able to turn everything fully in the backswing. Then effectively you're pushing off of the left side in the downswing, and the weight, the pressure's backing up to the right side. It's almost like an opposite use of the ground to get the hips turning the way we want to get the hips to turn.
Yeah, it feels so counterintuitive.
Maybe it's just thinking of it. Yeah, I know. Yep. But you can definitely turn more in the back, putting the weight on the left side, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas if you put your weight onto your right side as you try and do your backswing, it's so much harder to get that. You've shifted your weight back onto your left side.
Yeah.
Without even kind of realizing it. The only way you could get all the way back there was to shift, forwards. Then the right side opens up. Then as you push more from that lead side now, you're pushing back. The pelvis is effectively pushing back. That then allows the left side to open up more on the way down and through. It is like you say. It's just an opposite. Comes up so often. Kind of whatever you think you need to do the opposite, and you'll probably be right.
Yeah.
Yep.
felt like I over exaggerated the
Yeah,
load
it's
and
good.
my head
Yeah.
barely moved.
I know. Oh, it's scary, isn't it? The feel of it. Yeah. Oh, that's a decent amount of load there. That's a good amount of load, and then you do get that much more of just a natural reaction in the downswing. It's so much better. Yeah, that lead side opens up really well on the way through. I tell you what, it also does is it. I don't know if you can feel it or even see it, but it really smooths out your transition.
There's not that.
It doesn't look as quick. It's not that snatchiness almost where you're almost making it. And again, that's never conscious. You don't probably ever feel like you're making the downswing happen, do you?
No, I mean
It
every once in
it,
a while on
it
the
just
video,
does that.
you can see it. Yeah.
Yep, yep. But that looks like you've got so much more relatively because there's not a lot of time, obviously. But it looks like you've got so much more time at the top of the backswing, and the hips are definitely your hips. If you watch the front one, you can definitely see it. It's tricky because you've got to watch your left hip and kind of peripherals. Got to be watching what the hands and club are doing at the start of the downswing. But you've definitely got that initial push with the lower body, which is then pulling the upper body with it. Oh, the internet company have come back to me. God, it's horrible being used to. I'm used to like a gig, up and down, and I'm getting about 20, 20 down, but only like 2 upload. So is mine's coming right though, not freezing
No,
or anything.
you're coming through all right.
No, it's okay. Oh, good. Yeah, that's really good. Really good at the top. I don't think it was quite as good on the pushing off of the lead side. Didn't look to be quite as good with the push off the lead side.
That was just an open face.
Just see what makes sense.
Still more of a vertical turn than a horizontal turn, like we've been working on before.
Yeah. Try and push it more. Maybe if you flare your left foot out a bit, so the left foot is out a little bit more, and try and feel you are pushing that way a little bit more. So almost like your hip. So imagine if you had an alignment stick through the front 2 belt loops of your pants. Oh, I said pants. imagine it's going to be pointing towards the right hand side of your screen, like the right hand edge of your screen. So you're really trying to push. You're really trying to push everything that way, sort of pointing over in that corner. Like, yeah, you do want to get that lead hip outside of your lead foot. That really has to just try and push a little bit more that way, because it's that movement there when you're pushed into that lead toe, kind of towards a little bit more towards HMT, I would guess, just kind of pushing a little bit more that way. You're then going to get that push back, which is going to help you to clear it all back as well, rather than it being just kind of like a down, which is going to push it up and still help the turn. I think if I push it a little bit more on the angle, it's then going to help it fire back and clear
you get that same angle
better. Yeah. That's what's lacking, I think, a little bit in that last one there. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, that's much better. Just watching the outside edge of your left hip from address to top of backswing, then coming back down. It's definitely push left there in the backswing. And then doesn't push any further left in the downswing at all. And actually coming into impact, that left hip is starting to work a little bit more away from target. Yeah, see, that's much better. Yeah, it definitely works away from target through impact. And then you automatically get that club head speed more up again. Club head speed is much better. We know when you get that swing going really nicely, it does get up into the high 90s, doesn't it?
Yeah, yep. Got tops out right at 100.
Yep. Yeah, again, just through that so well. Yeah. Yeah, loads into that lead side. Yeah, it's five back off it really well. It's see how much more you clear the lead side in the downswing. Well, it's not crazy because it's just how it works. But you do clear so much more when you load more left. The more you get into that lead side in backswing, the more you then naturally push off of that and you fire the hips open and back through impact. And it's got all the power that it needs, just without the variability from the amount of movement that you would get otherwise.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we've been working towards the whole time, of just making it.
Yeah, the whole time. Yeah.
Oh, that's going left.
Which again is why I love the Cantlay swing. Just because it's so very much like what we're talking about. He just does pretty much exactly what we're talking about, and it just rotates, uses the ground, just rotates. Just very simple. Yeah, nice. It's so much better when you load left. Really is just so much better when you get that push left. Yeah, you got much more of that push left again that time. Loads more push into that lead side. Lead hip goes way more over there, and then back again for impact. All in all, the whole delivery is so much better. Like all the numbers, all the data points are all better. Angle of attack, I mean, path is just a little bit more into out than we'd ideally want, but
Yeah.
the loft, your delivered loft is like really good. The lie angle obviously is good. Just speed is there. Doesn't have that kind of want to kind of throw out and over, does it?
No.
It's good. Yeah, don't do that one.
No.
That's just a lazy backswing. That is. Yeah, that's better. See, that's night and day different to what you just did in the one before that one.
Yeah, the one before it's that get onto the right foot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you see, you do one of those, and then you then the next swing you do, you're putting the ball in the way, and you've just trained your body, your brain to fire the nerves, muscles to move, get that movement to happen, and then you want to do something completely different on the next one. It's going to be your brain's all confuzzled. I don't know what to do. Which one do you want me to do?
It's so funny how it's just that first move in the takeaway just sets absolutely everything.
Yep. It sets everything. It really does, doesn't it? Yeah, like we talked about last time. We said that, didn't we? About when you get that right hip kind of getting more behind you earlier makes a lot of difference.
I think, I was working on getting the right hip back earlier, and feeling like the right hip was going back. But I think this of just getting
Yep.
that left hip, going forward.
Yeah.
Better feel
Left
for
hip
me
forward
where,
and kind of down.
yeah, where I'm thinking about getting that loading into the left side, and the right hip just comes for
Yep.
free.
It just kind of goes there. Yeah. 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 It's always the tricky bit is just figuring out what trigger is going to be the one.
Just weeks and weeks of just trying to ingrain that feeling, and it goes away. Then it's back to. It feels like it's back to square one. I know we're not back to square one, but it feels like I just can't get that to stick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Because you kind of make a little bit more sense of it if it didn't produce the shots that it was producing when you do it.
Yeah.
That you'd kind of go, well, yeah, it makes a bit more sense. I can kind of accept it a little bit more if I'm getting it very good from doing that movement. When you do the movement, it becomes it's never automatic, but it becomes a lot more automatic. Like the whole sequence just flows that much more.
Yeah.
I would just say that it's because of all the years of ingraining the other way. And I'm exactly the same. When I started doing this, it was in like 2012, 2013. when I started doing it myself, when I learned about this kind of ground reaction force, which is when I then at the time questioned why am I trying to get my guys that play once a week and literally that's the only time they hit a golf ball. Why am I trying to get my guys to do this movement? That's just involving so much timing, and then started to go about doing this. I mean, at that point, I've been playing golf myself for 20 odd years, you know? I've been coaching golf for 15, what would it be? 2013, like 18 years. Yeah, 18 years. Coaching it kind of that way of get it over, then drive it forwards. I've been doing golf for, 22 years probably at that point of doing it that way.
A lot to change.
So it's a lot of change. And I still have to watch myself that I'm not drifting. And I think that is the bit we forget, because we don't kind of realise. So in your car, you get in your car, you drive your car a certain way, and yet if you had somebody watching over how you're driving and you were on almost like a driving test again, a lot of us would probably fail because we got these bad habits of doing it the wrong way. But we're so used to doing it that way. Like anything, changing a habit is so difficult. Because physically we know you can do it.
Yep, that's the hard part, is where you know you've been doing it and then it goes and you're like just lost, frustrated about why you can't get back
Yeah.
there. And I guess for me, it just needs to be
Yeah.
it needs to be that just load left towards the corner of the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just try and incorporate it a little bit more into everyday life, where just at random points, give yourself a good gap from a wall to your left side, or a chair, and just anything on the left side, and just give it some of those. Because the only way I can get to the wall from or the fridge from where I am is to push down. I can't if I don't push down. I can't. I want to stand far enough away that I can't get into the fridge there without loading down into the ground. It's the only way I can do it. Just anywhere, you can just be anywhere and just you just want to kind of just do that movement. That's it. Yep. Get used to. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly that. Because when you do it for real in the swings you're doing here, you're doing it just about the right amount. It's a really good amount. It's a really good load into the lead side. But when you do those ones, that's massively exaggerated.
Yeah.
And they're the ones. They're the ones. So in a lesson environment, I'm always like, no, more, more, more. When I'm pushing you to try and get you beyond where we want you to be, and you're probably a little bit more focused. Maybe I think something I'm noticing a little bit more is people are slower generally at hitting shots when I'm on, and I would be guilty of it.
Oh yeah.
Very quickly. You start off a session with all good intentions. The first half a dozen shots, you watch your replay, everything's all quite smooth, and then before you know it, you're like just machine gunning them down there. Yeah, and then it all just starts to get out of shape.
It's just
Yeah, it's got to be that exaggeration of movement, just so you get more and more used to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, go back to that. Make
Back
that
into that
part of
kind
the
of butt to wall drill.
daily routine, just at the desk doing that.
Yeah. 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 Back into that butt to the wall drill. Just really, really exaggerating that. Maybe
All right, we'll have one more here.
be. Let's pin that over. Yeah, see, that's just really good. Yeah. The ones where it gets a little bit more into out is when you do actually overdo it a little bit. So because you just stood there and you did a good half a dozen or more of those rehearsals where you were really pushing into your lead side, look how much your pelvis moves towards target in the backswing. Moves way over. Like that's exaggerated. So effectively, that's actually moved a little bit further than we want it to move, which at the moment I think is perfect, right? So you've moved it all the way over here. Effectively, we're now set kind of ahead of the ball, so the path is very much going to be more into out, because there comes a point where the more we do it into the lead side, it becomes that little bit harder in the time that we've got to get everything back off of that lead side again and open.
Yeah.
So that's all that's happened there is we've got you doing and you've done exactly what I've asked you to do. The only downside of that is it does get it a little bit more into out than ideal.
Yeah.
But if you practice it that way, you're not gonna, and it's not a you thing, it's an us, all of us golfers, you're not gonna maintain that when you're playing around a golf. I don't care if it's sim golf or outdoor golf. If you're golfing your ball, you are not going to maintain that level of loading it left.
Yeah,
it's going to drift a little bit. And at that point, it drifts back to pretty much the right amount that we're after. But for it to be the right amount that we want, got to go beyond the point that we want first. Because it always drifts back. Yeah, it always drifts back. Yeah, because you just don't quite push off it, do you? You get really nicely into it, but it just doesn't quite push off it early enough.
No, you can see I slip on my right foot.
That lead hip. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Let's try one more of those.
But it is that exaggerate it. It very much is that exaggerate it. Yeah, good. Yeah. And when you do, so say between this one and the next one, say you do get more into that loading into the lead side, you physically see and feel that you are loading more into that lead side. If you still see those numbers are a little bit higher into out, you then want to just rip it back like much as you're kind of pushing it forward. So at the moment it feels like a massive to kind of push into that lead side. You then want to feel you pushed into the ball of the lead foot.
Yeah.
You then almost want to feel you're using that to push back, but at the same time, so I almost feel when I'm hitting it my best, I feel like I'm pushing into the lead foot. I'm also then going to push off of that, so I'm pushing into the toes to push that back. But at the same time, I'm feeling in my mind that I'm yanking my left hip out of the way as well. So I've got like a push off and a pull.
Yeah.
So that's going to make that whip like really quickly.
Yeah.
But obviously, just get used to this bit first. I don't think with focus, it won't take you long to get back into that again. I think it's always trying to push beyond. I have it loads with people. Like Wonko is a good example of something we did last year, and I gave him a drill to do. I can't remember what the drill was, what it was about, but I gave him a drill to do, and he then couldn't have a lesson for a couple of weeks, whatever. And he messaged me in between, said, "Oh, Shanky, I've got it. It's going so good." He then messaged me like a week and a half later. It's kind of going again. It's gone. I can't do it. And I'm like, okay, are you still doing the drill? And he was like, no, I'm not doing the drill so much anymore because I was playing so well, I didn't think I needed the drill anymore. And I'm like, the drill has got you to the point of hitting it so well. we've got to keep that up. So I think it's got to really keep up that exaggeration.
Yeah, that drill.
Because you won't get it too far.
Okay.
You won't get it too far. It won't stick being too far. I can count, in 10 years of coaching this methodology, I can count on one hand the number of people that have actually overdone the load left.
Okay.
I'll
keep working on that.
Yeah, keep pushing it. Yep. All right, dude. I better get my next one.
Yep.
Thanks, have a good
holiday.
Christmas. Happy holidays. Yeah, thank you. We will. Yeah.
See ya.
And I don't know when we're on next, but I'll see you on this one.
Yeah, it's early January. So.
Perfect.
See ya.
Sounds good.